sharing our stories connects us. Listen and be connected. Join us for the conversation meeting weekly at the intersection of community and culture. Hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. And Joe King Carter. How you doing, Joey?
Hey, baby.
We're back. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's that magical hump hour of the week. You're listening to WMNF 88.5. This is The Conversation. My name is Mario Nunez. As always, I'm seated alongside my broadcast partner, Joe King Carter, who ably sat in for this host last week as this host was experiencing some life-changing event. Joey?
Yes. And it was, let me say before you get to the life-changing event, it was interesting flying solo.
Yeah, I know.
It was like I had one wing. I was going in circles because I had a wing missing.
One oar in the water. No, I tell you.
But you know what? It was okay, and we did well, and it was a good show, but you were sorely and deeply and wonderfully missed. So.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I can tell you that it ain't so easy when you get in that hot seat and all of a sudden that mic is hot and you gotta carry the load. But you're a big talker, Joey, so I know it went well. And as soon as I get a minute, I'll get a chance. I'll listen to the show again in the archives, which I encourage everybody. We encourage everybody to listen to the show each and every week.
Available here at WMNF.org.
And from any place in the world. So just to catch everybody up, why was Mario missing last week? Last week I had the privilege and the honor of being present when my mom transitioned, 96 years young, quite the full life Carmen Maria Nunez led, born in 1930 in Ponce, Puerto Rico, moved to New York, the area of town that is referred to as Spanish Harlem. That's the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Mm-hmm. She was raised there. She was about 4 years old when she moved there. She was raised there. And ultimately in summer of 1945, at a World War II celebration block party, as they want to do in the city, mm-hmm. she met a fellow by the name of Felipe Nunez, a.k.a. Lefty. And why? Because he's left-handed, of course.
Of course.
Why would you call him Lefty otherwise?
Yeah.
And so they started a fast friendship, relationship, and got married 2 years later in 1948. Had two sons. My two older brothers were born in the city. And then in 1951, they came back to Tampa to stay. They had been to Tampa back and forth. I had one of my grandmother's sisters who anchored the family in Ybor City. She was a good earner. She was a talented cigar roller. So she anchored the family. My mother knew nothing of Tampa. The first time here she traveled to Tampa was on her honeymoon. They took the Silver Meteor, left Grand Central Station, and a day and a half later, or I guess 24 hours later, they docked here at Union Station. They got in a car.
Now, what year is that?
That was in 1948. April 10th of 1948. Wow. That was the first time she came to Florida, right? And they went to Clearwater Beach and they honeymooned with my grandmother in tow, of course, my father's mother, but not for the reasons you think. She wasn't trying to chaperone. Mm-hmm. She took advantage of the opportunity to come see her sister, right? As I had mentioned to you, see her sister and her mother, who was still alive, living here. So then they went back and forth a couple of times. My father couldn't quite find steady work here. And ultimately, after the birth of my brothers, in 1951, they moved back to Tampa to stay. Now, to have known this woman, she was fearless. She was relentless, whip smart. Took, I talked to her about this often. I said, Mama, if you had only done the next, she was like 2 courses away from getting her teaching certificate where she could have taught piano lessons. My mother was an accomplished piano player. So, and her cousin at the time taking lessons at the same time went on to have a career with the Joe Cuba Sextet. That's for another day. But can you imagine, Joey, I may not have been so quick to chase a ball around as I was as a little kid. I might have been, maybe the trajectory might have been in the music world.
It's interesting that she didn't push piano on you.
Well, the house was very small. It was one of those starter homes, and I don't know where we would have put a piano, to be quite honest with you. There was no room in that house for a piano. Although once things started to the kids started to leave and so forth, my mother, the first thing she did was she bought a little keyboard. She bought an organ.
Right.
So she started to play again. That said, my mother was just whip smart.
Right.
So she got here. She worked. Her first job was in sales at a place called Martin's Uniforms, which was on 7th Avenue at the time in Ybor City. Mm-hmm. With my father's cousins. She worked
Ended up on Armenia, correct?
Correct, 5201 North Armenia. How do I know that? Because I worked there for several years, and that's where I met my wife. That's another full circle.
Another world, yeah.
Yeah, another full circle story. But at that point, my mother, her talents were recognized, and one of the local attorneys hired her to be a legal secretary. So my mother was a proficient in Pittman shorthand. She could type 110 words a minute. She was very valuable in a legal office. Mm-hmm. She did that for 10 years, and then she got the opportunity to go to work for the Honorable Senator Louis Delaparte Jr., which many people in Tampa would remember that name. She worked for him for another decade. At 42, this woman, raising 3 kids, and understand, 4 kids if you count my father. He needed to be raised up a little bit too. With an iron fist, my mother raised us. At 42, she decided she was going to go back to school, so she enrolled at HCC and got her pre-law degree to become a paralegal officially, so that she could get more money. Right? That was the whole motivation, so she could get more money at her job. She worked another decade after that in the legal business, in the legal profession, I should say. And then ultimately, before retiring, she worked in the Hillsborough County School Board for about 8 years. Just missed getting tenured in so she could get a retirement. That happened. And then the last job she had, I guess, was at Burdines. And what was she doing at Burdines, Joey? What was she doing at Burdines? Sales. She was doing sales.
That was good.
Yeah, because mom was like that. Mom was a bit of a... Mom was a social butterfly, and she infected me with that as well.
Right.
So that's the quick and dirty.
Well, let me ask you a quick question, and this is about your mother. I understand, but what happened there that you had 2 brothers 8 years older? About?
One was 9 and one was 7 years older.
Okay, and then 7 years go by, and a gleam flashes in your father's eye.
No. Quite the au contraire, mon frère. Let me explain to you how that happened.
Yeah.
So if it had been my mother's choosing, she would have had me probably shortly after my middle brother.
Sure.
To stair-step us and then keep us all kind of together.
Right.
But two children back to back. Young couple starting their lives. My father said, "Hey, let's pump the brakes on that for just a minute, and let's right the ship a little bit and get a little bit of a rhythm and routine here." My mother, dig this, my mother was the third of 3 Marias in a row, right? So it was, my grandmother was Maria Encarnacion, my great-grandmother was Maria Hortensia, and my mother's Carmen Maria. So she wanted to kind of keep that tradition of Marias going. So when she finally wore my father down and they went after their next child, which she knew was going to be a little girl, not so much, Mama. Yeah. Not so much, sorry.
Right.
So they didn't have a name picked out. They were so certain it was going to be Maria. So what did they do? Like any other good parent, they changed that last letter from an A to an O, and Maria became Mario. And apparently they didn't have a middle name picked out for me either, because they said, well, he looks so much like his middle brother, let's just give him the same middle name. So my brother's Fernando Roberto and I'm Mario Roberto. I just creative.
Wow.
My father.
So I just discovered, after all these years of friendship with you,
yes,
that we have something in common.
Talk to me, baby.
My mother wanted a girl.
Dale.
And your mother wanted a girl.
Joey, we talk about this all the time on the show without hesitation, and I'm very unabashedly honest about it. We both are very, very comfortable in and around females, especially strong females. Why is that? Because we were raised by them.
Very comfortable.
There you go. Right, Joe? Right? But you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
And the energy is good with
feminine energy is like makes life the world run.
It makes it worthwhile, but also it's also the energy that we need, because if it was all men all the time, it'd be like, this is Mars, right? Yeah. And we need some Venus, right? Because Mars, gladiator, destruction, broadsword.
But you probably got some special attention because of the age difference, and because she did want, this was the child that she wanted in a very specific way.
And what you don't know is, and again, we'll get back to finishing the story about my mom in just a moment. What you don't know is that my grandparents, my mother's parents, moved 2 blocks down the street from where I was living as a child.
Always a good thing.
2 blocks.
That's great.
So, and if my bike ever broke down, I could walk to Abuela's house. But the reality is, and my grandmother was 48 when I was born.
Okay.
So she had the energy of a 48-year-old woman.
Right.
And with nothing to do because my grandfather provided for her, so she was my caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she spoiled me rotten.
Let's indulge little Mario.
She spoiled me rotten. But listen, back to my mom.
Yeah.
Back to my mom. Legend has it that one day I was being little Mario, little Mayito. And I had spent like 3 days at my grandmother's house because that was the place to be. And finally, it was the weekend, and my mother wanted to take her son home with her. So she came, and of course, Mayito threw himself on the floor, and he kicked, and he screamed. And I went and hid behind my grandmother. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. My mother said, "You're going." And she grabbed a handful of my hair. Ooh. And I don't know whether it was that I ran in that direction and she pulled in this direction, but legend has it that she pulled a little bit of my hair out of my head.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So I said, well, Mama, you win. I'm going. Ouch. I'm going with you.
Right.
But listen, that love affair between me and my grandmother went on until my grandmother.
I get it.
Until my grandmother was no more here. So, back to Carmen Maria Nunez.
Yes.
Fearless, incredibly talented, dedicated and loyal. She lived long enough to see 7 grandchildren, 12 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild.
Wow.
And if it hadn't been for her will to just keep going, she might still be here, but her body, as it will happen to all of us, Joey, and
sure.
I know this.
Yeah.
But for those of you that are suffering out there with...
But 96, that's an amazing...
No, man, come on.
That's an amazing...
Come on, and I'm just...
moment to reach.
Remember the erstwhile aforementioned Lefty? Mm-hmm. Still here, brother.
Yeah, I know.
Still here.
Yeah, he's remarkable.
98 years old, still here. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that I'm now trying to rally around and throw my love and support around because he knew this woman for 80 years. They met in 1945 at that block party.
Wow.
And that's all he knew. And it's a big loss for him, obviously.
I'm sure.
So... for those of you,
he has your love and support.
He does, and he lives
24/7.
They live with me. And we're watching more baseball games than ever before because my mom. One thing for sure is if there was a baseball game on and my mom wanted to watch Hallmark Channel, my dad was screwed. My dad wasn't going to win that argument. Then Lawrence Welk we watched every Saturday because why? Well, because Carmen wanted to watch Lawrence Welk.
Good for you, Carmen.
So, Mama, I love you. Thank you for being an incredible mom and for just being a shining example of perseverance and loyalty and fierce advocacy. She was quite the special lady, Joey. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, of course. And let me just say to you, as my friend, the loss. Some people do not have a good relationship with their mother, by the way, and that's understandable. That happens in life. But for many people, the loss of a parent it's a lot, and at any age. And then the loss of your mother, there's something about that. I don't know. I just know that my world sort of came to a crashing moment when my mother passed, and it was a lot. It was
energies do shift in your life, and then you realize that one person, even more. Listen, that's how I raised our 2 sons. I would tell them I would tell my boys without being overly domineering, but I would tell them, I said, listen, you keep messing up, and I'm going to clean this up for radio because, we're going out to 7 counties and there's a board member in studio. I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to clean it up for our radio audience. I would tell my sons, listen, you keep messing up, and there's going to be consequences.
Yes.
To which I could see in their eyes, they were looking at me saying, I don't give a damn what Daddy thinks, but I can't break Mama's heart.
Yeah,
because I would tell him, I said, you're gonna make me angry, but you're gonna break your mother's heart because she's the one that's gonna take a bullet for you, not me. So I'd try to keep them on the straight and narrow, and it kind of did work because our 2 sons that are wonderful, full-grown men, 43 and 44, 43 and 40. They made it through their adolescent years, their young adult years. One's a chiropractor, the other's a loving father of 2. And so that, I'm not saying that's a panacea and that works for everybody, but that little good cop, bad cop thing, Joey, you know what I mean?
It works.
And there's something about a guilty conscience laying a little guilt on the children if it's just the right amount. that'll work. So thank you, audience, for first of all, for being with us each and every Wednesday. We have loyal audience members that follow us around.
Yes.
And they were probably worried about or wondering what happened to Mario last week. Did you happen to mention it last
of course
week?
we did, yes.
Okay.
We discussed it at some length.
Okay.
I wanted everyone to know why you weren't here, because you would not be dropping out of sight for no reason.
No, I'm dedicated to this show, Joey. I look forward each and every week to being in studio to doing this show with Jessica and Gabrielle that answers our phones, to bring you interesting people in our community that have leadership roles. We always try to stay on topic. You know, our board gives us a mission statement each and every month. And along with Randy Zimmerman, our CEO, and the driving force, our GM, I should say, and our driving force here, we try to do our best to stay on track. So thank you, audience. Thank you for being with us each and every week. And now I think we can start. Should we re-rack the music? Should we go with the music again and start the show again, Jess? No, I'm teasing. I just thought that would be a good.
Well, so we had our guest was slightly held
no,
up.
he had a little traffic issue. We know this.
Yeah, right.
And you know this, man.
Yeah.
He was stuck in traffic, but that's okay. He's here now, and we're going to start the show in earnest. And you know what? Again, the universe will conspire sometimes to help us, right?
That's right.
The universe sometimes will just open a door or a window when you need it open for you. So we were fraught with desperation because really and truthfully, we weren't sure what had happened to our guest. But we kind of knew. So when he didn't show up right at first, it gave me the opportunity to share that wonderful story about my mom.
Very nice.
So thank you, Akeem, for doing that for us.
No
but
problem.
next time, don't make us so nervous. Okay, don't make us so nervous.
There you go.
And we're going to start the show in earnest now. So Joey, we'll make believe the music is played again.
Yes.
My dear brother Joe King Carter, please introduce our guest.
Well, we're excited today because we have with us as our guest Akeem Daly. Welcome, sir.
So what's an Akeem Daly anyway?
What is an Akeem Daly? Some of you out there already know Akeem because he's not an unpopular person, but we're going to talk a little bit about his life. And what we do here, Akeem, is we start with your personal narrative, and then we work into the issues that are present in your life today and what's happening. So let's start where you grew up. Where did you grow up, Akeem?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me. It's a blessing and it's an honor. So what is an Akeem Daly, you say?
Yeah, what is that?
Akeem Daly is born and raised Bronx, New York.
Okay.
Bronx in the house.
Yeah, Jamaican parents. So I was listening to your story and I'm like, okay, I understand.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Raised Bronx, New York. In the military, been in the military for, about to be 15 years now.
It's a good run.
I'm getting seasoned.
That's a good run.
You are Sergeant Daly?
I am Sergeant First Class Daly.
Sergeant First Class Daly.
Yeah.
Get that right, Joey.
Get that right, Joey.
There we go.
Yeah.
So before we get to that, let's talk about your life in the Bronx. Because what kind of childhood are we talking about? Some tough times?
Yankee fan.
Big family. What's happening there?
So, big family. So 6 siblings. I'm the baby. So,
oh, wow.
You know, I'm the spoiled one, I guess.
Okay.
But I would say a normal childhood for what normal is in New York.
Right? Okay.
So,
and for those not from New York, qualify that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
I lived in the projects for a little bit, and then we moved around quite a bit, and then we finally settled in our first home. So typical childhood, what you would see on TV, going outside, playing basketball, sports. You know, of course, your occasional fights here and there. And, you know, growing up with that New York grit, I had both parents, wonderful parents that poured a lot of love and support into me. And they are the reason why I am the man I am today.
Yes, well, that's good. That's great.
You're here.
Yeah. So...
P.S. What was your schooling like?
Yeah.
Were you a good student? Were you a capricious? What were
I'm
you
not
like?
gonna lie. It took me a long time to get to this college version that you're saying. It's funny. I went in reverse. So I started off, I was straight A student. I was one of those kids, I would run home and I want to watch the Animal Planet, History Channel, and all that type of stuff. And then around 6th grade, I flipped the switch and I just became the class clown, the bad kid. I got expelled. I've been suspended. Now, a number of times I got kicked out of college. So I went for a dive, and
that puberty is wicked, man. I'm telling you,
it's crazy. Once you grow
hormones,
bit, nobody can tell you nothing.
Voice changes, hair on your face. What's going on?
Yeah, I just wanted to.
So what was happening there, Akeem? How do you feel about all that? What was it? Were you acting out? Were you seeking attention? What do you think was happening there?
No, I just felt like, see, times has changed now, right? So a lot of things are accepted now that wasn't back then. So
right.
Back then, being labeled, I guess, like the nerd or whatever the case may be, wasn't cool for me, right? I wasn't adjusting well to loving books and all that type of stuff. So you switch. I start hanging around with different crowds. I start realizing that I like different things, but I didn't know how to
taste
blend.
Of that stuff. Yeah,
I didn't know how to blend the two, so I became two different versions of myself. At school, I'm one version. At home, I'm the next version. So, and then, after a while, things just start taking over, and then you wake up one day and you don't even recognize yourself. You're just like, you're still trying to find your identity.
Right.
So I was having an identity crisis, I'll say that.
Well, in our culture, young people with a lot of energy and a lot of intellect unfortunately can get lost easily.
Absolutely.
And our system doesn't sometimes know how to channel that.
Right.
So that sounds like who you are a little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you were the baby.
Absolutely.
So you're getting attention.
Right.
A lot of things are happening in your life. Okay. So you're kind of feeling like you're not succeeding by the time you're an older teenager, right?
Absolutely. Because you don't have a direction. I didn't love. There was something that I didn't just love. Right? I didn't have a guideline, what I wanted to be, where I wanted to go. So just kind of lost. The only thing I loved was basketball at the time. So I poured my heart and soul into that. I actually got a partial scholarship to college with that flushed down the drain. But
really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But Kim had some skills, did he?
Yeah, I was decent.
All right now.
I was a little decent. But with that being said, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't want nobody telling me what to do at the same time.
Yeah. So, I can relate.
And then I was the only one in my household who was born and raised in America. So all my siblings were born and raised in Jamaica.
Oh, really?
Wow. Now you buried the lead, man. You should have started there. Because that's a whole different backstory, man. I mean,
exactly.
You're way different than your siblings. 100%. Even if you had one that's just 2 or 3 years older than you, your passport's different, man. Your citizenship is different.
And by the way, how did you avoid not having the accent, man?
It's funny because, once again, backwards, right? I was born here. I went back to Jamaica until I was about 5 years old. So when I came back to America,
you had it.
I had it. So I used to have to go to special programs to make sure I speak English correctly and all that type of stuff. So my mom. God bless my mom. My mom was like, listen, you're American. You're not speaking Patois. Make sure you understand how to read and write because you're American. So I was the only one in my household who was not allowed to speak Patois.
Oh, really?
So Joey, in case you don't know, Patois ain't easy to speak either.
Yes, I know.
And the reality is, we have other things in common too, Akeem, because I know if I told you what your feelings are about bacalao, you know what bacalao is, brother, because that's codfish, by the way, in Spanish. but so the first time,
I knew that.
I digress. The first time I had the occasion as a flight attendant to fly into Kingston or Mo Bay, and we came out the next morning and we're serving breakfast to our passengers, our countrymen, Jamaicans. And we're doing scrambled egg omelet and bacalao. I'm thinking, how is this possible? We don't eat this at home. But I knew what bacalao was. But that island it's a special place, man. There's great history there. You carry some of that with you in your heart?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I used to go there all the way until I was about 16, 17. I went every summer for the summer. And then as an adult, I've taken my family about 2 times so far.
Oh.
So Jamaica.
Keep that tie. Absolutely.
Sure. By the way, we have a connection, the three of us, because everybody in my family.
You ate codfish too?
No, but everybody in my family spoke proficient hillbilly.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
And I grew up having to learn English.
Oh.
So so there's that. So now we're in high school and we're going to college and we're dropping out, we're having problems, and something's going on there. What happens next that changes your life?
So, like I said, weird dynamic for me, right? Because I'm in high school being super bad, but still having great grades.
Okay.
Right, because I kind of figured out how to have great grades.
How to play the game.
Yeah. Still cut school, do all that type of stuff. Landed myself into a Division III college, Mooresville State College, upstate, for a partial scholarship for basketball. Mm-hmm. And I just wasn't ready. I still wasn't ready. I was still very immature. I still didn't know what I wanted to do in life, so I chose sports science.
And sports science, okay.
Sports science, so I could go through physical therapy, stuff like that. And then when I got to school, I realized this ain't high school. Nobody gonna hold your hands.
Right.
Your parents is not there to be like, go to bed, do your homework, do all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't adapt well. Mm-hmm. I went there to party.
Right.
And one semester. I lasted one semester.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you were a good student. You were just good at partying.
I was great at partying. It was amazing. Listen.
One thing I know, Joey, I know, and Akeem is a living embodiment of this, is when you get kids that, ultimately become adults, that maybe have a rambunctious, we'll leave it benign, rambunctious kind of a youth, where they're trying to find their way, but they have the energy, and they have the acumen. Mm-hmm. They just need to figure out how to channel it, because you can always get the horse to run straight. You can't always get the horse to run fast. It seems like Akeem was always running fast, running hot, but he just didn't know what to do with it. What's my goal? What's my mission? Was it the military that gave you that mission?
100%. So after I got kicked out of college, I was a Hollister model for a while.
Get out!
Yeah. I was a Hollister model.
My oldest boy was at Abercrombie & Fitch,
really?
Man. Yeah, taking off his shirt, standing in the doorway. Listen, what kind of business is that?
Listen, I was working in the elevators and all that type of stuff.
Wow.
But yeah, I did that.
You go.
I did that for a while, and then one day I just woke up with this sense of purpose. I'm like, there's something more to life than this. Mm-hmm. And I literally went to the recruiting office. And I was like, look, I don't care about the job. I don't care about something, but I need to do something with my life. And working at Hollister ain't it. Mm-hmm. And I joined the military. No one in my family had joined the Army. My brother and sister joined the Navy, so we was familiar with the Navy. So it was a hard adjustment for my parents, because they automatically assume, you're going to go to war, you're going to go to die, whatever, all this. But I knew I needed to do something completely drastic that's outside of my wheelhouse, because that's the only way it was going to shape me to become who I was destined to be.
You, in a sense, you had to slap your own self back into something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And by the way, the thing that a lot of people don't think about when they think about the military, as like so many other kinds of professions in the world, it's a choice of service. Mm-hmm. I mean, we call it the service, but I mean, people don't really, sometimes I don't know that they think of it that way. They think of soldiers as protectors, but you are really...
or warriors, gladiators.
Yeah, but you are really, it's all about service. And my experience has been service to your community at any level is a huge awakening.
Joey, let's take a moment real quick. And this conversation with Akeem is just warming up, so stay tuned. We got plenty more on the backside of this Station ID. Bottom of the hour, we usually take a moment to do a Station ID. We'll do that now. Come back with more with Akeem.
Hi, my name is Laurie and
Teresa Rodriguez.
And you're listening to The Conversation
with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter on WMNF 88.5 Tampa.
Oh, I love it. The Rodriguez sisters.
Yeah.
Joey, take the opportunity right now before we forget, because we might, we're of the age, to remind everybody something about Best of the Bay. What's going on with you and Best of the Bay, Joey?
Oh, well, so you know what, ladies and gentlemen, let me speak to you directly out there as an appeal. This is not about ego, because my ego is in a much refined place at this age of my life, but it is about something else. I have been nominated for Creative Loafing's Best of the Bay, Best Radio Personality.
All right, Joey.
And yeah, I'm certainly honored because that doesn't mean that one person nominated me. That means that a group of people did, and that's very sweet and kind and wonderful, and I love that, and thank you. But here's the real bottom line. This is an opportunity for you to vote for me. And what you're really voting for is the conversation. You're really voting for Mario, and ultimately, you're really voting for the station, for
Community
WMNF.
Radio. Absolutely.
Because on that list of best radio personalities are a bunch of corporate DJs, of course.
Including Bubba the Love Sponge.
And including Bubba the Love Sponge. Hey, folks, let's not give this to Bubba the Love Sponge.
Thank you.
Let's give it to Joe King Carter. So here's what I'm asking you all to do. You can vote every day. You can vote once, and you can vote every day if you'd like. All you have to do is go to vote, V-O-T-E, .CL-Tampa, one word, .com. It's that simple. Vote.cltampa.com. If you go there, you will scroll down to people. You open people. You will scroll down through the various hits. There will be best radio personality. Hit that, and a list of individuals will
in alphabetical order.
Yes, and you will see Joe King Carter down there about 2/3 of the way down. Please, folks, give me your support. Give me your vote. I really appreciate it.
I'm voting for you, Joey, every day.
Yeah, thank you so much.
With a great deal of
and I'm very
enthusiasm.
surprised by all this, but frankly, I say let's take the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
And so, please, and here's the best news: the voting closes on
August 30th.
August 30th. So you can vote every day. The first time you vote, you have to go in and register real quick and put in a little password. But every time after that, it's open it up and push a button. Open it up and push a button. So, folks, please support us and support the conversation and vote for Joe King Carter.
Yes. and let's put a finer button on this, Joey.
Yes.
And I wish you all the luck, brother, because again, like you say, this is about the bigger picture, which is bringing attention to WMNF.
Absolutely.
And our enterprise here on Wednesdays at noon called The Conversation. But you guys that are leaning in now, listening, going, what did he say again? It was vote.cltampa, CL for creative loafing, vote.cltampa.com.
That's it.
And if anybody's wondering and they're leaning in and they're smiling because you can hear the smile in my voice, I'm not jelly. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous. I am a little bit, okay? Dog, I wouldn't be like me if I wasn't a little jelly, but
Yeah.
Joey, you know, brother.
But you get the bennies, boy.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
so
want to be
thank
part
you,
of the
folks.
entourage.
Yeah. Now,
Jessica says, maybe you didn't hear it, folks. She says, "There's always next year." Jess, will we be here next year?
Yeah, I think
don't
it would
know.
be- it
I
would
think we
be,
need to do all this now. Let's ask Akeem what he feels about that.
yeah, it would be cool for someone from WMNF to hit this and not
Of
someone
course.
from corporate America to hit it. So
Thank
let's
you.
do it. Okay, Akeem, we are back. Now, you have joined the military, you have joined the Army, and your life must have been changing rapidly quickly when that happened.
It was actually a crazy culture shock for me because the military's smart, right? And God works in mysterious ways. So once I joined as an 88 mic motor transporter operator, which is fancy word for a truck driver.
Okay.
Or Uber of the Army, right?
Right.
My first duty station was Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Oof.
Right. So they took me from
Bronx,
New York.
Come on now.
And brought me all the way to
the dirty
Louisiana.
South, the deep
Culture
South.
shock.
Yeah.
Super. So that was my first time I was on a plane, and I'm looking. I'm like, there's no buildings. I only see trees. It's swamp. It's hot. It's bugs. Yeah, it took me a long time to adjust to the military. Yeah.
And especially that part of the country.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Two things going right there. You had to learn the way of military discipline and the way of, what your job was whilst you're battling the environment and trying to figure out. And of course, you know, you're not married. You don't have any children. So it's just you, brother. It's just you.
Absolutely.
By the way, that's a good point. What was it like to encounter all of that discipline in a quick way like that? I mean, was it?
He was looking for that, weren't you, Akeem? Isn't that what you wanted, that structure?
I was, but it was still difficult because it took a long time for me to shed my New York isms. That's what I tell people, right?
Oh. What's a New Yorkism? Give us an example.
Well, New Yorkers, we always think that we're the best in everything, right? We think we have the best
New York
state.
minute, brother. We go too fast. We're too brash.
Right. So we're the best state. Everything.
We got the Yankees. You ain't got the Yankees. We got the Yankees.
So you have this sense of cockiness.
Yeah, of course.
When you're from New York,
okay.
going to another state, you feel like you're kind of better than everybody. You're more superior to everybody else. Everybody is slower or whatever the thing is. And I went to the military with that attitude. Oh, yeah. So it was rough for me.
That did not fit well.
No. 49 other states had something to say about that.
Yeah.
Quick story. I'll say this real quick. When I got to basic training, and we started, I remember they yelling at everybody and all this type of stuff. And one of the drill sergeants, they tied my shoelace together. They threw my bags. They was like, go get it. And I was like, you know what? Nah, no, I'm not. Put me back on the bus. I'm good. I quit. I didn't sign up for this. And they was like, you can't quit. I was like, yes, I can. And I untied my shoelace, went back to the bus, and I was like, yo, I quit. Send me back home. I don't want to do none of this. And in that moment, I had a bunch of drill sergeants talking to me, but then one stuck out because he pulled me to the side. He was like, look, you got to learn how to play the game. You signed up for this. You volunteered for this. Mm-hmm. You're asking for change, so you got to accept the change. Mm-hmm. Adapt, overcome, will teach you, but you got to learn how to play the game. Mm-hmm. We're just like you. We put our pants on just like you. We're just trying to teach you something that you don't have.
That's great.
That moment is when it clicked for me, and I was like, all right, I'll learn how to play the game, but it just still took me time. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you were fish out of water for sure.
Yeah.
What is the Marine mantra? Adapt, overcome, and improvise, or adapt, improvise, and overcome. I think that's what it is. Right, adapt, improvise, and overcome. So these were skill sets that you had in you. They just hadn't been brought out yet. You didn't even realize, right?
I was trying to fight it. Yeah.
So what happens next? Let's.
Fast forward. I actually became one of the best soldiers that.
Of course you did.
Yeah, no, literally.
Because you had it in you, brother.
Absolutely. Yeah. I learned the system real fast, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, if I could run fast, be strong, be physically fit, shoot my weapon efficiently, and do all these things, be in the right place, right time, in the right uniform, I get awards. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I get accolades for doing this, which is normal for me. So what people will complain about, making your bed, doing all this, goes back to my Jamaican roots. It's like, I've been doing this since I was 5. This is not a task to me. This is everyday living.
Routine. I got this.
So the things what a lot of the soldiers found difficult, I found easy.
Oh, okay.
So then my mindset shifted because I was just like, let me hurry up and get these tasks done because I want to hurry up and go back to my room to go do what I want to do, what Akeem wants to do. Mm-hmm. But then in the military eye, they're looking at it like, wow, he's a stand-up leader. Look at him taking charge and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was like the perfect storm that they just, with my work ethic, they just kept feeding me things. You're going to go to this school. You're going to go to this school. And then when I looked up, I made E5 in 2 years, which is kind of like unheard of at that time.
Right. Wow.
Also, Joey, and I know I'm spoiler alert, I'm going to screw the whole conversation up, but these are also things that make for an incredible recruiter. Did I say that out loud? We'll get to that. But those leadership skills, they are very adept at recognizing as well.
Yeah.
And, you've got, listen, dude, that's $1 million smile, so I don't know what you're talking about. That's, you know what I mean? It's all good. It's all good.
Well, he did a little modeling after all.
So, Hollister.
A little something.
Yeah. So now we see the scene of
being identified.
You're excelling now.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what happens next?
So the military promotes on potential, right? So let's get that there. So I got promoted as a young E5 2 years in the military. So I don't know anything about the military still. So now I'm a sergeant leading grown men and women who are way older than me. So now I have to readjust. Mm-hmm. Once I figured out I found my legs, now it's like, no, you're a manager now. Mm-hmm. You're a boss now. So it took me a while to figure out that dynamic because it's almost like you want to go outside and play with your friends, but you can't because now you became the...
You got some responsibility.
I got responsibility.
You got to watch your baby brother?
Yeah.
You got to watch your,
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was a big learning curve because I wanted to still be your boss and still be your friend at the same time because we're all around the same age or I'm way younger than you.
Yes, right.
So
that's a hard one.
Tough.
Impossible?
That's a hard one.
Because not for Akeem, though.
Because sometimes
he's adaptable.
Leadership and management both require that you somehow create a buffer. Appropriate. What's about boundaries? Really, it's appropriate boundaries, and it's sometimes that's uncomfortable because you don't want to be in that inside that circle that's different than their circle.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then especially when you're a young adult, you don't want to be hated, right? So it's like, you have this power, you don't want to abuse it though, and you still want to fit in, but your skill sets doesn't allow you to fit in. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You have to lead, but you kind of like...
And being considerably younger, you don't wonder if they're taking you serious or not.
Exactly. And it wasn't at that time, because it's like, you only been in 2 years. What can you teach me that I've been in 10 years?
Or you get the Fredo complex. I've been passed over, Michael. Yeah, I've been passed over.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this guy comes in out of nowhere, flashing his Bronx attitude.
Well, it's very tough. Some people have a really difficult time taking... management from a younger person than them. 100%. That's a big deal for some people, and very hard for some people. Like some people who can't take management from a certain gender or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so bearing in mind that we got about 15 minutes in show.
So let's go.
Let's speed up now to what is the motivation for Akeem presently? What brings you to us today?
So fast forward, right? I've been doing great stuff in the military. Then I stumbled upon being a recruiter, which I always knew that I wanted to be a recruiter just because of how I joined the military, and I wanted to give back. And I love puzzles, so I like to solve problems. So I know that I have the voice to solve a lot of people's problems that look like me and stuff like that, and lead them to the water, right? So I stumbled on becoming a recruiter, and the grace of God, I became one of the #1 recruiters in Tampa, Florida.
No, I don't say grace of God. I say this was inside of Akeem the whole time. And they just gave him another task to accomplish, and he got there.
It's the grace of God and the grace of Akeem.
Yes,
there you go.
Absolutely.
There you go. So now you become a top recruiter. Wow, that's a pretty big deal.
Another feather in your cap.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
And so in that process, you're now giving service in a different way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In a more enjoyable way, because now I can amplify my message.
So how do you recruit? I mean, what is the process in doing that in a way that you're comfortable with?
And then tell us your message.
Yeah.
Because you left it wide open right there, and I want to know what that message is. Yes, you did. I didn't miss it. Joey dropped it.
No.
Joey didn't get to...
No, I figured he'd get back to it.
Okay.
So
well done.
Yeah.
What I changed, well, not changed, but what I realized is I was good on social media. And I'm really good at marketing and branding.
I see where this is going.
So
you're back to Hollister days, man. You're back to your Hollister. See how it goes full circle?
Yeah, so I realized that really fast, and it helped me recruit a lot of people nationwide, so not just in Tampa. So I just brought that to the forefront, and I was able to, do a lot of messaging or a lot of talking to the youth who don't understand what the military really is, or they see it one way. I was able to be like, hey, the military is not just put a gun in your hand and go to war. We have over 150 careers that you can choose from. Careers, not jobs, right?
Right.
You can use that as a stepping stone to be an entrepreneur, whatever you want to do. There's so many benefits. And even if you want to be a gamer, if you want to be a football, basketball, we have all of that. So just educating people on more than what you see on TV was my calling card, and then I just love to do it.
That's amazing.
And is that your message? Or is there something a little more granular?
My message now is we're more than just a uniform. So what I do now is bridge the civilian world with the military world, because I'm an influencer, and show that we're more than just a uniform. We're more than just war. We can be entrepreneurs. We can be businessmen and women. We have doctorates. We have all these things that you guys have on the civilian sector. We're just in a different community of the 1%. So let me show you what the military have to offer, and show us that our skills match up to yours on the outside as well.
How interesting.
No, what a great message, because people, if they don't know that, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So if somebody like Akeem, who looks like Akeem looks, is talking to somebody who looks like Akeem looks.
You mean good looking?
Well, handsome brother. So you know what I'm saying? You're just bringing all of it to you. Now I'm going to say this at the risk of, with about 11 minutes left in the show, be careful, Akeem, because influencer, military background, obviously a skill set that you have been honing. May I ask how old you are presently?
36.
Perfect age, man. Perfect age.
Yeah.
This could also easily flip, and you could go back to your community in the Bronx, or you can do it right here in Tampa and lead people on the civilian side. By that, I mean public office. You would be an incredibly energetic, charismatic, smart person to lead that community as well. And if you just flip it a little bit, if you just take a little step this way, you're in the same arena. It's just now you're on the civilian side. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I do.
You could be a city councilman. You could be. You understand?
And Mario wants to be your campaign manager.
I see.
I just want to work for him. That's all.
You're hired. You're
there
hired.
you go. There you go.
Let me, and that's a great thought, Mario. So let me ask this question, because you brought up something I wasn't really clear on. Typically, recruiters, it sounds like something flipped there. Typically, recruiters, I assume, recruit in their area.
Yes.
So this thing where you became an influencer online and expanded that to the world, was that unusual?
It wasn't unusual.
I mean, are you one
was
of them?
it intentional? Was it premeditated?
It was intentional for me.
You're leveraging the technology.
But is that done? I mean, I guess I'm asking, is that typical or untypical?
It's not typical.
It's not typical.
No, because a lot of people are not comfortable with social media.
Okay.
And how we get recruiters, you're voluntold to be a recruiter. So now you're getting people who in sales who don't like to speak. They're antisocial, they're shy, they have all these things. So now you're telling them, like, you're trying to give them different ways to, recruit.
You had this from Hollister days, man. This was in your skill set when you were 12 years old, when you were the class clown, when you were running around doing all that stuff.
Networking has been my thing the whole time.
You just didn't know what to call it.
So how do you influence? Tell us some of the ways that you are making influence happen.
So I do a lot of give backs. I'm also a Sigma, so I'm in a fraternity as well. So I'm a part of a lot of events.
And podcaster? Did I see?
Yes, I have a TV. Yeah, I have a TV show called Shake the Room Show that we
all right, man. Now wait a minute. You went right over that. What is it called?
Shake the Room Show.
Shake the Room Show.
Shake the Room Show.
And you're shaking the room.
Absolutely. Everywhere we go.
There we go.
Joey, I mean, listen.
That's good.
We have one caller that's been waiting for a minute. Can we get to him real quick? I just want to do this because we want to honor their time, and he's been waiting for a minute. Simon in Lakeland. Simon, we're going to give you a couple of minutes before we get to the end of the show. Thanks for calling.
Well, yeah, this is Joe Kane in Lakeland.
Oh, Joe, I'm sorry. Hi, Joe. Thanks for calling.
It's all good. It's all good, man. And what a show. I just happened to chime in. I'm a long-time listener, supporter of the station. And first time I've heard you gentlemen, and definitely your guest. But I just wanted to chime in on a similar path. Born at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, raised. Both my parents are Army, and my dad was killed in Vietnam when I was 6. But going through the GI Bill in college, they offered me a commission to come in as a second lieutenant, and then after I denied that. First lieutenant, but I went a different route, and I'm the first African-American drone CEO in the state of Florida currently for Aerial Media Consultant. And I just want to say his story inspired what my story was, my path. And I know the Army is now, and I want to give that gentleman the chance to shout out to these young men and women listening to the drone path that is opening up in the United States Army and military is wide open for gamers. Guys, the jobs that are paying out here in the civilian world are big money, and we need drone pilots. And I'm just going to hand it back to you. Great show, guys. Sir, great job. Thank you for serving our nation. And, man, you're doing well, guys. All three of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
That's amazing. And, thank you, Joe, from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, Joey, I think you're witnessing to this now, but every once in a while we'll get a caller, like a first-time caller, right? Long-time listener, first-time caller, and they're motivated to call, and then they share stuff like that with us. It just warms my heart, Joey.
Absolutely.
It reminds me why I don't want to miss not 1 week of this, because every week you don't know who you're reaching out to and you're connecting with.
Community.
And
so powerful.
And that's why we're here. So thank you, Joe in Lakeland. And Akeem, address some of the things he said there.
No, that was amazing, actually. That just
drone technology.
That made me feel good. I felt like I got my wings for today. So, he's actually right. It's funny he said that because I wanted to be a drone pilot, 15 Whiskey in the Army. I was switching over to that, but at the time, I had just made sergeant and they wasn't taking my rank. So he's completely right. The way technology's going, everything with drones and videography, photography, gaming, simulations, he's completely right. When I preach people join in, I tell them go aviation route, go the medical route, and if you can get any cybersecurity or anything of that, intel, you
great. Yeah.
6 figures walking out the door.
And you get to hear people tell you, as we're going to tell you right now, Akeem, thank you for your service.
That's right.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that means something because for guys like Joe and I who grew up in our most formative time in our lives, those late teen years, which, you struggled with a little bit, finding your way, we were just experiencing the end of the Vietnam War. And if you didn't have anybody in your family directing you through military service, that was the last thing on your mind, joining the military.
And I also, let me just say real quick, and I know you're aware of this, that there are some people that construe the military with anti-war issues, and they don't like the military, and they don't see the need for them, and we can go down this long road.
Absolutely.
But what I have realized over time is I've known so many people who came from disadvantaged backgrounds or some kind of trauma in their background, and they've gotten their education, a medical education, a technology education, legal, and they through the military. And it is, for the right person, it is an excellent way to connect with the world and make yourself a better person.
Absolutely. I tell people that the military is a cheat code. It's literally the cheat code of life. If you start young, the military teaches you to be a real estate agent.
Tell everybody what you said and explain what you mean by that. I know what you mean, yes.
Yeah.
The reason why I say cheat code is because of all the resources that they give you, right? So for a typical job, let's say dental hygienist, you got to go to school for that, right? But in the military, they're going to take you off the street, no education, no nothing.
They're going to train you.
And they're going to train you to be a dental hygienist, right? So let's say you get out the military. Now that person who you're competing with, you've been working in that job field. You have the experience and the certs versus someone coming out of college. You see what I'm saying? So you're already ahead of the game.
Yes.
Then the skill sets that you learn just being an adult. Period. Making decisions, your attitude, being on time.
Just making it through basic training and the discipline that it takes to do that is also a message to your employer saying, this guy's got the right stuff, he can do it.
Exactly. So you have that. You have your free medical, dental. You have college. It's endless. Now they're giving you money to be entrepreneurs. So you get money to start up your business. So I tell people, at least do 3 years in the military. It will change your life. And let's not even start with you're traveling for free.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
Germany,
where's the furthest place you've ever been, Akeem? Come on now.
Korea.
There you go. Halfway around the world.
There you go. That's good.
That changes your whole perspective.
Joey, is there any reason now that we have any doubt why Akeem is so successful as a recruiter? Bro, I'm going to be 68 years old. I would sign up right now if Akeem is talking.
I know, he's inspiring
and I can't do anything. You know what I mean?
I think that is, frankly, an awesome thing. And by the way, not the least of those things is adulting. Adulting is hard.
Yes.
And some people do not come to being an adult easily. And if this program helps you become an adult, wow, that's a huge thing right there.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest skill set of all, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah.
Akeem is walking the walk. What's around the corner for Akeem? Let's ask him before we have to get out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm a part of this big organization that's coming to Tampa. They're doing their 10th year anniversary. It's called the Military Influencer Conference. It'll be here at the JW Marriott September 23rd to the 26th, hosting over 4,000 active duty veterans, entrepreneurs, civilians, you name it. So it's going to be a time.
And when is this going to occur?
September
23rd to the 26th at the JW Marriott.
Have you met many other Akeem Dailies? Have you met any other Akeem Dailies that are like yourself, that your counterparts in other parts of the country?
I'm starting to.
Okay.
So when you start
They're starting to identify themselves.
When you start to walk into your purpose, God just drops it everywhere you go. So now I'm building allegiances, right?
Nice.
Alliances, as you say, right?
Yeah.
Alliances that we're all starting to walk the same walk. We're putting programs together. We're helping other influencers get brand deals and, put out their message and things of that nature.
And this thing that's happening is called the
Military Influencer Conference.
That's
MIC.
interesting. Yeah, because when I saw that, I looked at some of your information. When I saw that, I thought it was the Military Industrial Complex.
Oh.
That's a whole other thing.
It's another MIC.
Yeah, right.
It's another MIC.
Okay.
Not the same one. Akeem, what a pleasure it's been meeting
This has
you.
been great.
Meeting you
It's a
today.
pleasure to meet you, Akeem. Really, it is.
And we're glad that you found your way to the studio
Thank you for
in
having
time.
me.
Yeah, of course. Don't run off because we got to to get some photos after we get done here. But listen, if it's important to Akeem, it's important to us here. And let's just continue this dialogue down the road. So when you get on the other side of the MIC, right? Yeah. Maybe just let's get a coffee. Let's talk. Let's figure out what our next move is going to be, because we'd like to follow you. We'd like to follow you.
This is your campaign manager. Here he is.
I would love to have you out there.
Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Joey.
Matter of fact, I got you 2 free tickets so you guys could.
Come on, Joey.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Thank you so much.
That's wonderful. Joey, before we run out of time, thank you, Akeem, for being here today.
Thank you again for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, special thanks to Jessica Green. Jessica.
Who's that?
She's been working a big morning here. She was on air early from 6 to 9, and now she's running our board.
What time did she get up today?
The volunteers are endless at WMNF, folks. And we also have Gabrielle on the phones, who has been there helping us today. She's always a dear heart. And coming up next, I see over there.
She's getting ready.
Is Sam Bam Wham I Am.
Oh, no, he did that.
Yeah, she's coming up with It's the Music Wednesday. Please, folks, listen to Sam. It's great stuff.
And vote for Joey. Remember, vote for Joey. Vote.cltampa.com. Let's see if we can win this thing. Thank you, everybody, for being here. As always, you're listening to WMNF Tampa.